You see, the idea of bringing these different budgets and programs and schemes under a specific category, you see, allows us to connect different dots. Now, what happens when we have a SDG budget? It's not that we create additional funds for the SDG budget, but different programs that are going on for us to be able to achieve those SDG goals then become part of this SDG budget. I'll give example of climate budget, for example. Now, when we talk of climate, we are doing many projects under water conservation. We're doing different projects under tree plantation. We're doing a lot of projects under different mitigation work, maybe it mining issues that are there. We are rejuvenating the springs. So when you do these projects individually, they could fall under soil conservation, something could fall under water resource, some programs could fall under forest department. But then they are all climate related works. So therefore, all these are then clubbed together, and that's why we are able to show that this is the amount that we are committing towards climate related activities and schemes. So that's all it is. It's about clubbing all of this. So all youth related activities. Now we have education, we have sports, we have skilling, we have entrepreneurship. These are all youth related activities. And so there's a youth budget. So we put all of this. So that's what it is basically. And it has helped us because it allows us to connect the different activities and be able to see the larger perspective and the larger goal, and keep the main stakeholder at the center of the policy making that we do. Yes, it is, but you have to remember that a large part of this is actually the revenue expenditure, which means salaries. So out of that 3,000 plus crores, 1,400 crores will automatically go towards the grant in aid to schools, supported by the state government, which include, as I said, ad hoc and deficit. So these salaries or grants in aid of that is 1,400 crores itself. The salaries for government schools and government colleges itself, another maybe 700-800 crores. I don't have the exact number. So running expenditure and salaries ultimately makes up almost 80%, 90% of this budget, and only a small amount of maybe 100 to 200 crores is there for other infrastructural development activities. So basically, this is again a program that has been funded, and funds have come under SASCI. And this is a pet project of the Honorable Finance Minister of India. And there were certain conditions that had to be met, and proposals had to be submitted on time. And this was last year. And we were one of the few states who were able to submit the documents, the DPRs, and the requirements on time. And Madam Finance Minister was very happy, and she sanctioned this amount of 100 plus crores for 700 plus digital libraries. And this is what this project is about. It's basically of digital learning for girl child. This is like a project which is close to her heart. And so she had asked all the states to submit proposals, but most of the states were not able to submit things on time, but we were able to do it. We got that scheme. So this will be a digital library. Obviously, there's a room and there'll be some space. There will be digital content. There will be digital equipments where children will be able to learn using digital technology. I think there are 2-3 factors, because there's a numerator and there's a denominator. So definitely what we were able to do, if you look at the overall GSDP of the state, it has gone up. So the fact that when our GSDP goes up, then the denominator is going up, so the base is going up. So therefore, even if we maintain the amount of the deficit that we have compared to last year, and we control our expenditures in certain areas, so the absolute amount might go up, but because our GSDP also is going up, so the overall percentage has come down. So therefore GSDP is an important factor, and that's the reason why we've been focusing on ensuring that growth is important for us, because all of this depends on this. Our population is growing, so GSDP has to grow. Otherwise, the per capita will again come down, which will again put our state at a much lower level. So the main factor is the GSDP of the state going up. As I said, from 2018, when we started at 44,000 crores, Today in 2025, we are at 66,000 crores. And we are well on our way to achieve that 85,000 crores, which we had set a target in 2019, 20, 2021. So that's what it is. And of course, we have also ensured that we are careful in our expenditure.
Under regional connectivity and border trade, there was this mention of interstate border area development program that you are allocating to 29 crore. Don't you feel like it's less focusing on the amount of emphasis that has been made on this? And also there was...
It was 15 crores last year, and now it's 29 crores this year.
Okay, but does this also...
And also to share with you, the earlier schemes that we used to give were from lot of money came from central government. So central government scheme is stopped, which I mentioned to you yesterday. And therefore now the burden is mostly coming on the state to take up these projects. But what is important, as I said, which I mentioned yesterday in the discussion, in the resolution also, in the motion also, is that you can't look at the border area development only from this one scheme. We are stressing on the border area development from many schemes, and many projects are going on, whether it's from education, whether it's from PWD or health. This is just more like a gap funding. So wherever the MLAs are feeling that apart from their MLA scheme, apart from the CMSDF scheme, they need something for school building, construction, or something for a small repair here and there. So this is more like an untied gap fund which is available, and it is more flexible in nature, and that's why MLAs prefer it. Through department, the procedures are quite long, and they're quite used to, as mentioned by Renik yesterday, they're used to getting this. So therefore, suddenly Government of India stopped. So now we are just trying to, in a way, make up for that by giving certain additional amount. And as I mentioned yesterday, that I will increase it. So it was last year it was 15 crores. This year I've put it up to 29 crores. PIRF. So Police Infrastructure Renovation Fund, it's called PIRF. So this is a fund we give to every SP. So what used to happen before, again a basic reform which we have done. So earlier the SPs, even for them to buy a CGI sheet or to buy an AC, the approval had to be taken from finance, planning department. So for a 50,000 rupee sanction, the process was so long that the police were not interested in taking it up. So realizing this particular hurdle, what we did last year, I think 3 years back, we created this police infrastructure fund, where it's an untied, flexible fund. We give 50 lakhs to the SP to use it as he or she wishes. And we don't monitor, we monitor it, but we don't, they don't have to take prior approval. So they can repair their police stations, they can repair the barracks, they can repair the toilets, they can put up, other infrastructure for themselves. And this fund is quite flexible in the sense that they can use it for whatever purpose, constructive purpose. More importantly, as they utilize it, we keep giving more. So therefore, there are other ways also for us to fund those areas and those concerns. Already about 70-80% of the roads are complete. If you go, you will be shocked. I mean, let me just say it this way. I don't want to say anything. You please go yourself and make sure the camera is on, and please record it. The roads are already, a large number of them are constructed. We haven't opened them to public because we still feel that we need to be ready with everything. So we will be opening it when we are ready. But large number of road projects are already the thing. We are now, now we're talking about the next phase. So as I said, now you will see the second IT park is going to be completed by the end of this year. Then obviously the Secretariat work is hopefully is going to start within a month's time. Like that, then we'll have the women's working hostel there. The skills park is coming up there. The Unity Mall is already construction is going on. So these are projects in the pipeline. But there are many projects that have already completed in there. Yeah, so basically the budget, we mentioned out yet that it stands at 618 crores. So the outlay for agriculture and farmer welfare will be 618 crores. It's an increase of 43% from last year's allocation. Yeah, I mean basically the state's own tax revenue is mainly, it will be the areas that we expect some growth is mainly going to be in the excise department. So we are working towards improving the overall collection and overall some policies where we may take certain collection of VAT and other duties in advance. So we're working on that because it is it again has got ramifications at the distribution and level. So it will put pressure, but we will see, we'll decide. But we're working on this internal reforms. on how to increase that. So we expect excise to do better than before. And we also expect that in the GST also collection, we do expect some growth in that. Um, Mainly these two, and of course our petrol, the VAT that we get from petrol and other, um, petrol and diesel. There also we expect that there will be some healthy growth in that also. So these are the three main areas where the state's own revenue will grow.
You have
Sir,
concluded the budget.
about this international internet gateway project, if you can tell us that.
Basically, as you know, that there is a submarine cable that lands in Chittagong, and the Malaysian Telecom as well as Bangladesh government and the telecom agencies there are the main people who are responsible for that. We have spoken to Power Grid or Powertel, I should say, the telecom wing of Power Grid, and using their towers along with the MEPDCL towers, we are trying to get the link to the gateway directly and bring it to Shillong IT Park area, New Shillong area, so that we can, because that's where our data center also is coming up. So we'll be having a state-of-the-art three-tiered data center also coming there. That's where our integrated command and control center also there, and that's where the IT park also is there, and that's where the Secretariat also will be there. So if we can get the submarine cables, then we'll be able to get very high quality internet at a very good price. Problem is that there are multiple agencies, multiple governments that are involved, and therefore we have to really work hard, and especially if it's situation now in Bangladesh, there are some hurdles we're facing. So that is a general idea, but we have initiated this last year. We've kept it under wraps because we wanted to talk about it only when we were able to move forward. So we have made certain strides, so we thought we'll mention it this time. But it is going to take some time because of the situation in Bangladesh. So I have been speaking about this particular project even when I was a member of parliament. And even before I became a member of parliament, late P.S. Sangma and other leaders have been talking about this project. And I've seen the economic benefit of doing this project for the entire Northeast region. In fact, just recently the MOS for donor ministry had come. Mr. Majumdar was here in Shillong, and he told me that Hilly falls under his constituency. So it was quite nice to hear that, and he also is quite supportive of it. The reason I mentioned this in the speech today is because I felt that the people should know the kind of larger goal and projects that we're doing. You should go to the map and see the locations, and then you will appreciate what I'm saying. That if the connection between Hilly and Mahendraganj, which has to pass through Bangladesh, of course, does happen, then for a location like Silchar, Mizoram, Tripura, Barak Valley, the distance will be cut by more than 600 to 700 kilometers will be cut to reach Kolkata. That's the kind of impact it will have. So you're talking of cutting cost, cutting time, and it becoming a parallel economic corridor to the existing one. So it's that is the logic behind it. Now, when is it going to happen? Is difficult to say. Why? Because government of Bangladesh is involved in this. It's going through Bangladesh. So we started the discussion when the earlier regime was there. They were keen, but as I said, in the last visit, when the then Prime Minister and our Honorable Prime Minister had met, in that meeting, officially this discussion took place, and in the minutes of the meeting, this is mentioned that they will pursue the Hilly Mahendraganj road. And so it's part of a policy. See, things have been very challenging for us. I don't want to compare anything from the past, but I have to sometimes compare because we have to know the baseline where we're coming from. And things were very challenging because, in a way, the momentum that you require for an engine to run, to move, at least start to move, and then be able to then start walking, then start running, and then start achieving the goals you have. It takes time. And maybe because we took over in 18 and maybe there was a kind of a new setup, it took time for the system to actually take shape. It took time for the team to, kind of fall into place and the agendas to be put up. And then COVID hit us. So all I'm saying is that things have been very challenging, and the momentum took long time for us to pick up, and we were able to structure a system, because government is a large machinery. It's not about just getting the funds, it's about utilizing the funds, about preparing DPRs, about ensuring the team at the grassroots level implements things on time. It's about motivating the team. So many things are there. So what has happened now is that after 6 years, I should say, and touching 7 years now, I personally feel, this is again my personal observation, you could have a different opinion. I feel that we are now in that momentum where we are seeing a system in place. When a project happens, things move, departments know what they do, what they have to do. A bit of sometimes some hurdles come up, sometimes a bit of push is required. But more or less things are in kind of a autopilot kind of mode is happening somewhere close to it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least we have some semblance of an autopilot kind of a system. And now we are seeing the implementation of the programs that we have put up. We're actually seeing them take shape. My personal opinion, you will be able to see the impact of these works and investments in about a year and a half, 2 years. You'll be able to see. Like now you will feel like Puri Basha was mentioning. Where is the road? It's there. You have not seen it, but I'm telling you, when you see it, you'll be like, seriously, this road is in New Shillong? You won't believe it. I'm not trying to, blow our own trumpet or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell you the facts. I mean, a lot of challenges, but you'll start seeing the different tourism projects that are coming up. So now just imagine the impact of the 2 hotels that we put up is having an impact on the tourism now. So there was 2 years, 3 years back. So everything requires a time for it to show results, I say. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that I feel that we are now in that momentum. We need to finish some of the very, very critical, important projects that we are implementing, especially the infrastructural projects. I feel that it'll take time, a bit more to feel the actual outcome of things. Like, for example, as I said, the airport will come. Once the airport comes, by the time the flights started coming in, the tourists coming in, it'll be a year, 2 years before you again start to see the impact of that. So that's how things are. But in a nutshell, we are happy. I'm happy with the kind of work that is happening. I'm happy with the team, especially. Our team is working very hard. Our team is motivated. That's most important. And our team is driven by a sense of, a purpose beyond this duty. And that is, I think, the most important part, which I feel we've been able to achieve to some extent. That we've been able to show that vision to the team, whether it's the cabinet, whether it's the officials, whether it's the IAS officers or any department. I think that is something that is there. So yeah, you want me to continue?
Sir,
What happened?
Sir, half year, because 3 months down the line, will you have reshuffle?
Sorry?
Reshuffle of cabinet 3 months down the line.
You have to wait and see. Why should I tell you?
Sir, on another note, 3 legislators from South Garo Hills have submitted seeking extension of the railway lines. So are you going to take it up with the Union Ministry?
Of course, I will forward this particular concern and request to the ministry, and we will discuss maybe at an informal level first. Minister happens to be quite close, so I will be able to talk to him informally. And let us see, because as I said, I've been very clear that we will talk to the people. We will see how the public feels and what is their thought process in this whole idea. And if we are able to carry people along, then I am very keen to see that we'll be able to develop this infrastructure. Not only is a large investment for the region, but I think it'll be a great economic boost for the region, and it'll really help the farmers and the businesses that are there. Completely wrong. There's nothing like this. Number one, the way the finances have been worked out, I repeat, Government of India is very, very particular in the norms that are put up, and we follow the norms very strictly. So therefore, the question of us being in that position, number one, doesn't arise. Number two, even if the situation in whatever of wildest imagination were to happen, that situation would never come where government would say that. He is taking an example of a country like Ukraine and US and taking that example and putting it here that that's what these governments do. That is a very, very wrong way to and a very mature way to look at the things. Be practical. There's a practical way. Yes, there's a problem with if they have a problem with the the loan aspect and all. We'll clarify. We've clarified 100 times. We'll clarify again to them. Like I've been mentioning to everybody, you mentioned that EAPs, how will we pay them back? Why are we taking so much? Again, today in my budget's reply, I've written out that 90% is paid back by Government of India. So therefore, there is no issue with loan or no issue with the aspect of debt, and that scenario which he's mentioning is never going to happen. Well, that's what happens in a discussion and a negotiation that you do. And if you look at the entire areas that were brought in, the areas which were inhabited by our people, 90+% of those areas have come to us. Areas like reserve forest which were there, those are the areas which is there is a forest called Gizang Forest or Gizang Reserve something. So that was the area where some square kilometers of land, which was always under the Assam thing, that was taken by Assam, and that is where the numbers look like they are larger. But if you look at the inhabited villages where the people were residing, those areas have mostly come to us. And as I said, if I go into details of all those things, it'll just create more and more of a problem. But recently we had issues because there were some villages who are still saying that we also want to be part of the discussion. Now the problem that happened was in 2012, the report that was submitted. Those villages now which the other opposition leaders are saying we should include, those villages were never included in that report in 2012. And now the opposition leaders are coming and telling us that now include it. So there are a lot of problems like this. If I bring out all those issues, then it just gets more complicated. I'm not here to point fingers and blame people. I'm trying to find solutions out here. But as I said, that if you look at the last solution that we had in the first phase, I am of a very strong opinion that it has come in our favor. And all the areas where we had concerns in, most, I should say, 90+% of the issues have been resolved in our favor.
So what is the status of the demarcation?
The survey is going on, and some places it has been completed, some places not yet.